What's good, everybody, and welcome to the world's favorite pregame LAFC segment. That's right, it's time for one more sleep. Welcome to Defenders of the Bank, the LAFC podcast heard in over 100 countries worldwide. That's right, finally listened to in Bulgaria and Guadeloupe. Let's go. You know my voice, it's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert, sitting directly to my left on the interwebs, one Christian Philly Philemon, but I will let him introduce himself to you with his weekly new character of
Philly Nietzsche. That's right. I'm going to wax poetically and philosophically to y'all defenders, but I'm going to wait at the very end to wrap everything up as a philosopher does. He spends a good portion of his time in deep thought. I've been in deep thought. I'll be in deep thought for the duration of this podcast, but I'm going to finish it all off with something that the actual Nietzsche did say that'll hopefully make us feel better. Scar, I didn't realize we were played in Bulgaria. I was waiting for the family in the beautiful city of Sofia to finally acknowledge us. They did. Rock and roll. Eastern Europe, baby. Let's go.
You have family in Sofia, Bulgaria, and we had not yet been listened to in the country. Come on, man. You got to push your family a little bit harder than that.
I don't have any family in Bulgaria that I know of. But hey, Eastern Europe, we're all connected in some which way, shape, or form. Right. Everybody thinks Bulgaria and Romania and Hungary are somewhat related. I can't begin to tell you how many people hear the term Bucharest and think Budapest. Yeah, Eastern Europe, man. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form because we have something in common. We are not Western Europe.
Yeah, you can say that. I can't. I'm very Italian and then other Western European mutt. That's me. I want to go over two things really quickly, guys, that have nothing to do with One More Sleep or the match against St. Louis. First of all, we encourage on every single podcast, we encourage everybody to donate to the Mo Facio Futsal Court Foundation. And many of you, including myself, got an email today from PayPal Giving Fund and however they manage the fundraising effort, that there may or may not have been an issue. Anna is working on that. If you donate to the Mo Facio Futsal Court, Anna is working on that. I want to read to you a quick statement from Anna, the organizer, and obviously Mo's wife. Hi, everyone. You likely received an email from the PayPal Giving Fund about your donation to the Memorial Court asking you to pick a new charity. We are figuring out what the problem is and how to fix it to ensure that your donations are properly sent to the LAFC Foundation as intended. Please hold tight. We will give directions on what to do as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience as we figure this out. There have been 265 donations made to the Mo Facio Futsal Court through that GoFundMe, and we just wanted to assure everybody Anna is working on it, and we're hoping to get you guys more info, and as more info becomes available, we'll obviously share it. You can also check out at Mo Facio Futsal Court on Instagram for any information as well, but I just wanted to put that out there, Philly, straight away, just because, look, I received the email. I'm sure you received the email. Many of us did if we have donated, so make sure that you guys just sit tight on that.
This is the first time hearing of a defender, so breaking news for myself as well. I got nothing on this. Right. I had no idea. Thank you for giving out the news.
All right. Well, you might want to bring Panda into the room for this next one, Philly, and let me tell you why.
Why?
Such a cool little announcement in the game day email from LAFC. I did not see this one coming and found out about it only today. I'm going to read to you the exact 2-sentence little blurb from the LAFC email. Hopefully you guys have all checked your email. I know Philly doesn't, which is why I'm telling him. Arrive early to spend time with some available puppies at the first ever adoption fair in partnership with both Purina and Wags and Walks from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Every fan in attendance will also receive, not a puppy, but a co-branded pet bandana to bring home to your biggest supporter. It's kind of neat, Philly. Look, we make fun of St. Louis City's sponsor that their kits look like dog food because they're sponsored by Purina. But Purina and LAFC are actually doing a co-branded promotion for this match It is a really cool little pet bandana, and I love that they call it a pet bandana because I know you'll try to force all three of the gremlins into one of these things. But Philly, I'll do my best Jerry Lawler impersonation real quick. Puppies!
I hope my family doesn't expand any more than it already has, because Panda is not a good person to put in these scenarios, because she's going to try to adopt as many puppies as possible. That's a beautiful thing. I hope some of these pups get a home or two. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know what to expect because it's unlike anything that we've ever seen before. I do find it interesting that we are partnering up with the official kit sponsor of the team that we are playing tomorrow. It would be, interesting to see if they all of a sudden had some kind of event where Flex was doing things in their neck of the woods. I somehow doubt that's going to happen. But as funny as you say Purina is for a sponsor, you have to acknowledge the fact that they are a St. Louis-based company, and those St. Louis SC kits are pretty nice. But that being said, you mentioned dog food, and we hope to make dog food out of our opponents tomorrow night.
Aha, that is a solid segue, my friend. You're absolutely right. St. Louis City tops in the West. That's right. 12, 7, and 2 on the year, 38 points in 21 matches. And it's the most points through 21 matches in MLS history by an expansion franchise. So they are doing things that not even we did just 6 short years ago. Philly, they are 5 points clear of LAFC, and they're 1.81 points per game, second in Major League Soccer behind just FC Cincinnati.
It's crazy to think and see what kind of a season they have. Yes, they're first place in the West. They're 7 points shy of that supporter shield that's currently being monopolized by FC Cincinnati. They're also having a great season. I would not have guessed that St. Louis SC would have had the team that they would have had. In fact, none of the experts even anticipated it either. If you go back to those 2023 preseason predictions, I think the highest that anybody said they would finish, I think it was Kalen Kyle and Andrew Wiebe predicted they would finish 13th in the Western Conference. And if you're new to Major League Soccer, that would be second to last. Yet somehow they are on the exact opposite side of the table. They're one of the top scoring teams in this league. They are one of the top teams when it comes to goal differential. Actually, they are the top team when it comes to goal differential. And they're doing this with a ragtag group of players. Much like the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the NHL started out their inaugural season, not predicted to do a damn thing. They somehow brought these players together, and I'm talking about St. Louis, and they managed to work as a cohesive unit. I'm utterly and thoroughly impressed with how they perform this season. And it's not just one player they have, Scarf. They've got 13 or so that have gotten on the scoring line. I am appreciating and enjoying their game. I can't say I enjoy the fan engagement on social media because they seem to have their head up in the clouds, but it is up to us to remain undefeated when it comes to playing expansion sides in their inaugural season. We are 6-0-0 in that regard.
I can't imagine that LAFC fans were much different than St. Louis.
Yeah, but we're biased
this year in their opening year. I mean, look, success breeds a little bit of hubris every now and then, right? And look, this is a club that's solid at home, 7-3-1, but just as decent on the road, 5-4-1 on the road. And you mentioned it, Philly. They lead the West in goals scored with 40, tied for second in all of Major League Soccer. And they're also tied for second in the West with us when goals allowed with 24. And that plus 16 goal differential, Philly, plus 16 already is indeed best in Major League Soccer. You mentioned it, though. We have played MLS expansion clubs 5 times, I believe it is, in our inaugural season. In their inaugural seasons, I think it's 5. I have to go back and look.
Well, we're 6-0-0 as per the record.
I think what we know for sure is we beat those teams in those first 5 matchups on a 12-1 aggregate. We don't even give up goals to expansion teams, let alone lose to them. Cincy, Miami, Austin, Nashville, and Charlotte. The first time we played all 5 of those teams, we went 5-0, 12-1 on aggregate. Only Nashville scored because, of course, they have Walker Zimmerman. I blame that. But, Philly, you mentioned it, though. The biggest thing, they do get contributions from a lot of people. but they are going to be missing two very, very key members of their roster. Joao Klaus, their center forward, who started the year extremely hot with 5 goals in 9 matches, still their third leading scorer, and a player who has not played since June 11th, but is currently marked as questionable. So not sure that we are going to see Edward Lewin. He's been out with a hamstring injury. His last match, like I said, was June 11th, and he has 6 goals and 4 assists on the year. Those are numbers 3 and 2 in terms of goal production for their club on the season. And it's going to be interesting. We know that doesn't matter one bit. No Chicharito, no problem. No Cade Cowell, no problem. No Jesus Ferreira, no problem recently. But I'm throwing things out there, Philly, and trying to give us reasons to why we should be hopeful in this matchup playing against the number 1 team in the West.
Another stat to throw out there is their away record. There's only one other team that's got a slightly better one than St. Louis, and that's, believe it or not, RSL. Again, they're having an unbelievable season. And you said Leuven is questionable. He has come back to practice. Whether or not he's going to feature in this game is going to be interesting. But even if he does, I mean, he's been off the pitch for a little while. We'll see if that chemistry comes into play. But this team does play like a family. This team does play like a unit. If you go from top to bottom on paper, they are not any better than we are. There's just no which way, shape, or form that on paper they look better than us. But yet somehow they have been competing and playing much better than us. And of course, we could contribute to a lot of things, but I'm not saying anything. We're going up against the number 1 team in the Western Conference, the number 2 team in the league. Athletes like to compete. They elevate their game. You play alongside of the ability of your opponent. If you play against a lousy team, you end up having to play a lousy game. We're going to end up playing a much better and much bigger game, and we really have to. Because if this season is going to turn around, and yes, we do get a 2-week break after Minnesota this Saturday, we have to give a tremendous performance against the number 1 team to at the very least get in that positive mindset going into the break that we're going to turn our season around. We have reason to be hopeful. Of course we do. I mean, we're the defending champions, but they're playing exceptionally well. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and we have not been very good since May 23rd.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think you have to look no further, Philly, than the expansion draft for this St. Louis City team. They absolutely killed it in the expansion draft. 3 players drafted and 1 player they traded for on draft night have played over 1,100 minutes for this club on the season, led by none other than Nicolas Gioacchini. Nico Gioacchini is a player who was kind of buried in Orlando City. And I'm going to say this. He is a player that I was dying for LAFC to try and manipulate a move for last year from Orlando City. I loved this kid. He is a kid who's gotten a cup of coffee, easy for me to say, with the U.S. men's national team and has scored goals. And he is their leading goal scorer by far, at least actively, with 8 goals on the season. And he is so much fun to watch. Nico Gioacchini. They also drafted Indiana Vasiliev and John Nelson in that draft. And Vasiliev has started all 23 matches across all competitions for them so far. He came over from Inter Miami. And John Nelson, the left back, who's made 16 starts so far, they got huge dividends from their expansion draft. But let's not forget, in my opinion, their most important defender, and that would be Tim Parker, who they traded for on expansion draft night. He is leading St. Louis outfield players in minutes played so far with an even 1,800. And of course, Philly, if you can get that kind of production from the 4 guys you draft in the expansion draft, it makes it a lot easier for the legend, and I'm using that term on purpose, the legend that they have between the pipes. And I know a guy who you're excited to see in Roman Bürki.
Roman Bürki has had a magnificent career, having played for Borussia Dortmund. I mean, there's a lot of German influence on this team if you really go up and down the ladder, and obviously starts with their sporting director. Big, heavy German influence as well, which leads me to believe that they've scouted Timothy Tillman relatively deep and are going to know exactly what to do there. But yeah, we're gonna have our hands full with this team. They're coming into Los Angeles, even their periodicals. I came across a couple of things on social media. Even the journos and the pundits are feeling really bullish on the fact that St. Louis is going to come in and smack us around. I don't firmly believe that, but obviously in order to not make that happen, we got to do something that we have not been able to do for these past couple of games, and that's, well, win a game and convert on our opportunities. We create our shots. We create plenty of them on target, but we just don't score. And when you have somebody the likes of Roman Berkey in between the pipes, that's a big wall to climb. But even before you get to that, you get in through the former Houston Dynamo captain, and that of Tim Parker. I mean, this is a deeply talented team, and one that one of the which likes that we've never seen before. We've never played against them. This is the first time they're coming into Los Angeles to compete against us at BMO. So it's going to be an interesting game. But like I said, we got to turn these guys into Purina if we're going to, hold our heads up high and continue to progress in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I don't know if LAFC has ever faced a keeper. Maybe Tim Howard, maybe Roman Weidenfeller in the Borussia Dortmund
Tim
game.
Howard was towards the end of his career, man. I mean, we peppered him that final game of the season in 2019. It wasn't the Tim Howard of old.
No, but what I was going to say is I don't know that we faced a keeper that has 150 clean sheets in their career the way that Roman Berkey does. He got his last one, got his last clean sheet last week, and that was 6 clean sheets on the season for them. But yeah, 83 of them coming with Borussia Dortmund, and his 82 saves, second in Major League Soccer right now. Philly, let's get into the players to watch for this match. And I'm going on the young side of things when it comes to players to watch, because I'm looking at Nathan Ordaz and Aziel Jackson. Not quite Ariel. That's from Little Mermaid fame.
Oh, dang it. I did it again. I'm sorry.
Aziel Jackson
Philly. Proofread.
And Nathan Ordaz. Look, Nathan scored for LAFC 2 on Sunday, and I think now that he's seen it go in the back of the net, look, I'm firmly. It's hard, right? Because they just trotted out Stipe Buke for the media day today, right? So that leads me to believe that Stipe could be getting the start. That leads me to believe that Stipe could be getting significant minutes. I don't know that Nathan Ordaz is even going to play all that much, but we touched on this on our podcast, you guys. The leader in expected goals per game in non-penalty kick situations, in a very small sample size, I know, but the leader in XG from non-penalties on this roster is not Denny Bouanga. It is not Carlos Vela. It is Nathan Ordaz. And everybody who has watched Nate the Great play, we have seen some really fun stuff in limited minutes. And I'm just saying, why not? Why not? Against St. Louis City, this could be the one where he scores. Aziel Jackson has earned playing time recently because of these injuries. The 21-year-old has 1 goal and 2 assists in his last 3 matches. He has been all over the pitch for these guys. He had a brace in an Open Cup game earlier this year as well. He is a player who, in limited minutes, just like Nathan Ordaz, I think he's played less than 500 minutes on the year, has something like 5 or 6 goal contributions. So he is a player that when he is out there for St. Louis City, he is making others look good. And with their second and third leading goal scorers potentially missing this match with Leuven and Klaus, I'm really liking Aziel Jackson. I'm not saying I'm liking him to do anything good against LAFC, but if there's a player who's going to do it, it may come from Aziel.
Nathan Ordaz, that's a very bold choice and a very bold pick. And if he happens to get on the offensive scoring sheet, whether it be by way of a shot on target, an assist, or a goal, and I'm just going to have you're going to be picking my lottery numbers for the rest of my life, because your predictions have been rather accurate. We don't call you Scarfstradamus for no reason. So just
I appreciate it, my friend. I did call the 1-1 draw in like one of the only times I've ever called for a draw with LAFC. Well, I'm hoping I get our scoreline right for this one too. But Philly, who are your players to watch? I have a feeling I know them.
Oh, do you know?
Let's see.
Well, one's low-hanging fruit. Well, let's see.
Yep, absolutely, 1,000%. I could have picked both of these out. Are you kidding? This is the only reason why I didn't pick Nico Giacchini, because I wasn't 100% sure, but I knew you were going to go with the legend behind the pipes, man. Or between the pipes.
I mean, how could you not? The guy is one of the elite keepers in this league. He's started every single game for St. Louis. He's got 82 saves on the season, which is good for number 2. He's got 6 clean sheets trying to find his way in a 7. He's got a save percentage of nearly 78. I mean, Berkey's a great player. He's well-traveled, he's successful, and he's just a tough person to score against. So when I went back to, if you go back to what I was saying earlier with LAFC, taking their shots and having their shots on target, they got to put them in the proper places, because this might be one of the better keepers they've seen. Denis Bouanga is definitely, without a doubt, one of the best keepers that he will see in his short time within Major League Soccer. Keep an eye on him, and I mentioned Denis. Look, when he scores in numbers. He scored in the last game. He's got 12 on the season. He's one behind Hani Mukhtar. He's hungry and he's aggressive, and all he needed to do was just break the ice and find the scoring sheet again, and he's going to do it once again for us. If we are going to win, it's going to be by way of Denis Bouanga's accuracy and putting him past Roman Berkey. If Denis gets the better of Berkey on a couple of occasions, we are no doubt winning this game.
No, look, absolutely love it. And it's always fun to see their best against our best. And that's the matchup, right? Denis Bouanga against Roman Berkey. Look, my keys to the match are very simple. One is we have to communicate on defense. I have to communicate on D. Now, look, if it's Giorgio Chiellini back there, I'm not worried about how we communicate on defense, because Mamadou Fall, Danilo Maldonado, I'm assuming Jesus Murillo is out, and we know Aaron Long is not going to be there. Whoever's back there on the back line with Giorgio needs to just shut up and defer to Giorgio. Whatever he says, you just go do. But when we saw Mamadou Fall and Danilo Maldonado maybe have a couple communication breakdowns last match, look, they've had a day or two of practice and training to get on the same page about things. But there were a couple of times where communication on defense maybe broke down a little bit. Maybe it's John McCarthy that needs to take a little bit more of a leadership role back there and start telling both of his center backs what they need to be doing. But either way, if it's Giorgio back there, all is right in the world. I'm not that worried about it. But if it's Fall and it's Danilo Maldonado, we got to talk a little bit. We got to make sure we know what we're doing, who's got which matchup, whether we're going to cut off a guy or whether we're going to play back. We need to close out space. We know. We've seen this enough times now between our center backs and us not closing out space. And the bottom line is defend BMO. We used to always say defend the bank, because we used to always defend the bank. We need to defend BMO. Guys, the first time we played expansion clubs through LAFC, they are 0-5 against us. We need to continue the trend of them being 0-6 in all of the first times that we've played the expansion clubs. And the way that we do that is we defend our home turf. That's right. We need to defend that latitude 60, beautiful grass, whatever it might be. I forget the name of it. Latitude 36, I think, of Wundergrass or something cool. I don't even know anymore. All I know is we need to treat BMO like the fortress that it used to be. And I say used to be because we've already lost too many matches on home soil for me to be happy as it is this year. We cannot lose this one to St. Louis City.
I completely agree. They're not coming into our house and pushing around. My key to the game is very simple. Don't let them score first. Seems rather easy, you think, but it goes beyond that. This is a team that is undefeated when scoring first in their matches. They are 10-0-2 when scoring the first goal of the game. LAFC cannot afford to come out of the gates and have to play from a deficit. St. Louis, if they score early, it's obviously going to give them much needed confidence boost they're going to need coming into BMO Stadium. If we could prevent them from scoring first and we could get on the boards early, I think we have an opportunity to run away with this game. And yeah, you're right. Defend. You're saying defend BMO. I'm saying defend times 3. This is the hottest scoring team in the West with 40 goals. They're tied for second league overall with Atlanta United, only 3 goals shy of what the Columbus Crew have. Can you believe it? The Columbus Crew lead Major League Soccer in goals scored. It's crazy. They're not even in the top 3 in anything else. But that's what we need to do. We can't let them score first, and we have to defend. They're not going to come at you with just 1 or 2 people. San Jose, we knew it was going to be Espinosa and or Abobasi. This team, though, on the other hand, despite not having Klaus, despite not having Leuven, is still utterly successful with all the other players that they have. 13 of them have scored throughout the course of the regular season. I think 14 if you count U.S. Open Cup, and they're succeeding quite well without 2 of their big guns. So got to defend, can't let them score first.
Yeah, just want to remind everybody that Christian Ramirez has 8 goals on the season for the Columbus Crew. That's saying.
Wild.
All right, Philly score predictions. For me, it's going to be easy. I vacillated between going 2-2 or what I eventually settled on for my score prediction, which is 2-1. I think we circle the wagons, as Chris Berman likes to say. Nobody circles the wagons like Los Angeles Football Club. That's right. That's what Chris Berman used to say all the time before there was LAFC. He used to say that. Trust me. 2-1. I am hoping that LAFC comes to play the way that we think they can in this one. We need to play like we have something to prove. This is a bigger bully in the West coming into our playground, and they are going to try to use our toys and play in our sandbox. And no, we cannot let this club come into our house and eat our birthday cake. If you have any idea what that is, then I give you props. It's an old Arnold Schwarzenegger joke from Kindergarten Cop. It's one of my favorite lines ever. You know,
it's not a Tuma.
No, wait. Is it Kindergarten Cop? Yeah, I think it is. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, I don't even know. Something about being in my house and eating. He's not going to come into our house and they're not going to eat our birthday cake. I'm going to go look it up later. I'm really sorry. I forgot the reference now. It's performance anxiety. I'm sorry. Look, this is a great chance.
Sounds like a personal problem, Scarf.
Yep. There's you've said unit like 3 times already. This is a great chance for us to close the 5-point gap in the West. They are missing their second and potentially third leading scorers on the season. This is a time that we need to take advantage of it. We haven't taken advantage of it in a very long time. When teams are missing some of their better players, or in many cases, their best player or two, we need to take advantage of it. And it's time to do that. 2-1 LAFC.
I like it. And I had a very similar prediction like you, but I didn't want, I couldn't keep the same damn thing. I just couldn't. But that being said, we're still winning this game. Maybe not by a score of 2-1, but of 3-2. It's going to be a high scoring game. We're going to walk out of it with 3 points. Yes, St. Louis is the best team in the Western Conference and the second best team in Major League Soccer. Yes, they are the hottest scoring team. Yes, they have the best goal differential. But at the end of the day, they, and I have to remind them, you're playing the defending Major League Soccer champions. That's an MLS Cup, something that you don't have, obviously, because there's no way you could have had it yet. This is a replica of a supporter shield. And this is a championship ring. So I'm reminding you, you are coming into the home of the Lion. This is the Lion's Den. This is BMO Stadium. This is the most electrifying arena in Major League Soccer. Yes, I said it and I'm sticking with it. Nobody comes into our house and pushes us around. They're going to come in cocky. They're going to come in with their heads held up high, fronting in with that little red wagon, but the black and gold are going to break that axle, walk it, make it out dragon. I kind of messed that up. You messed something up. I messed something up. But my point is, there's no freaking way St. Louis is walking out of our stadium with a win. They're going to go home red. They're going to go home in their traditional red colors, but not because of the color that's on their uniform, because the amount of blood that's going to be spilled on that pitch, because we're going to go out there and absolutely whoop on them and annihilate them. We turn our season around tomorrow night. We are the defending champions. Recognize.
I will say, I want to back up. It was the 6th day. That was the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. That
I've never even heard of that movie.
I'm telling you, it's so quotable. It's so great. It's a terrible movie in my opinion. But The 6th Day by Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm just saying that was where the quote was coming from. Philly, it's weird to see, and we know this is not going to be the case because of the League's Cup, but it's weird to see that the next home match on the schedule is Sunday, August 20th. Against the Colorado Rapids, August 20th. I mean, we're talking about 6 weeks almost from now. That's incredible to think that that's when our next home match is going to be played. So like you said, man, what a better time than tomorrow than to defend it, because we're not going to be able to for quite some time, at least in Major League Soccer. Philly says 3-2, and I'm not going to lie, I like that better than 2-1, but I just don't think we're going to allow 2 goals. I got more faith in John McCarthy. I've got tons of faith in Giorgio Chiellini. I think Ryan Hollingshead is going to have a better game because it's been a little rough. I hope Cheeky Palacios is going to play with composure rather than anger. I'm loving what I see from our back line recently, and I really do think I love the 3-2. I love the 2-1 because either way, Philly, that means 3 points, and we close the gap to just 2 points on St. Louis City in the West. You wanted to wax, whether it's not, maybe it's not poetic, it's philosophical.
Yeah.
Philly is now going to wax philosophical as we close down one more sleep.
Just like Ted Lasso said, you got to be a goldfish, short-term memory. Friedrich Nietzsche did say the advantage of a bad memory is that, hold on, let me try this again. The advantage of a bad memory is that one enjoys several times the same good things for the first time. So I got a bad memory. I don't remember the last time that we lost at BMO Stadium. And tomorrow I'm going to enjoy winning again like it felt for the first time, because we're turning things around tomorrow. And maybe that wasn't as clever coming out of my mouth as I thought, that as much as it sounded in my head. But my point is, we're going to come out strong tomorrow. We are winning tomorrow night's game. Get out there to BMO Stadium, support your black and gold as we turn those Reds black and blue, and let's go LAFC. The season turns around right now. Dang it, I needed to work something better on that Nietzsche stuff. That's all right. I'll do something better next time around. But yeah, that's it. Anything else, Scarf?
We get to play with puppies. Get there early. Play the guitar riff. Let's go. Let's beat St. Louis City. Bah!
Let's go, champions. You're playing the champ.